We don't want any Halloween horror stories, or if you're listening closer to Christmas, coal in the stocking because you messed this up or someone else messed it up on you. Just be precise, be careful to do this in the proper way. And we certainly don't want a lifetime achievement award of losing some things because of too much spending or too much applications, as I believe the usual idea is to spread out the applications of these cards, maybe wait 30 days in between cards or even as much as 60 or 90 between, because maybe if you go for 5 chase cards in the same day, they're not going to like that and probably shut you down.
Absolutely. So Chase actually has what's called a 230 rule. The max they will give you is 2 cards in 30 days. So if you do one, say now, we're talking around Halloween time, is to do another one, say closer to Christmas, because you can still achieve your spend all in that first statement. And that's totally fine because your first statement will cut in January. So you definitely have time, and you don't want to do them too fast and too close together, because that second one might go under review as, hey, why do you need 2 cards that are close together? A lot of times it's better not to have the bank put eyes on some of the stuff that we're doing. Is that let's try to keep our odds high for automatic computer approval.
We're talking about the Southwest Companion Pass, particularly in 2026. So we get the Companion Pass. You have a companion in mind. Can you change companions? How many companions can you change?
Once you earn your companion pass, you get to designate your companion. So that actually doesn't count as your change. That's your quote unquote initialization. And then you can change it 3 times in per calendar year. No matter if you have a temporary pass or you have a full pass, is that you get 3 changes per year. But it is not that you get to have 3 people and you get to change in between trips. You can only have 1 companion booked at a time. So if you go from companion A to B and back to A, that counts both directions. So it counts 1 switch away from A and it counts 1 switch back to A. So that's something to keep in mind with your overall strategy of how you do that. Traditionally, my player 2, my wife, is my companion, but she is not a alpine skier. Usually once a year, I take a buddy out to Colorado or somewhere else to go skiing. So I will switch it for that trip away from her, take my buddy, and then switch it back to her once I come back. A lot of times I don't use that third change, but I do the change away from her and then the change back to her to basically fly. You definitely want to strategize over the year of how you do want to use those changes. So say you have a few different people that you want to include, you want to make sure that if you can't basically change to everybody, that you pick the trips that are likely the ones that are more expensive, either on points or on cash. So you get the most value, because those other trips that you don't have enough changes to bring somebody different, you generally want those to be those cheaper trips.
Good to have options. You never know what might happen. Maybe the reluctant player 2 won't want to travel at all. And you just say, okay, if you don't want to travel, I'll just go with someone else. So you're not tied to that companion. So that's a nice thing.
Absolutely.
And which airports do you think might be best for this? How about East Coast people, especially those flying out of Philly, where we have the wonderful new or now new-ish Chase Sapphire Lounge?
Philly is a decent option for Southwest, and especially if you can get in the Sapphire Lounge on either a Sapphire card or the Ritz-Carlton card. That's a good option. And I love that lounge. The food is good. The drinks are awesome. It really is, I would say, a airport dependent thing. So you definitely want usually a decent Southwest presence, but even for those that are in airports that aren't, say, dominated by Southwest in the bigger hub cities, BWI is definitely would be one of the East Coast hubs. And then obviously Midway and Nashville, and then Vegas, Denver, is that they definitely have a lot of hubs outside of the traditional. Everybody thinks of Southwest as being Texas based, but they do have quite a few hubs throughout the country that they work with.